On Friday, strong earnings and better-than-expected GDP data pushed the S&P 500 and Nasdaq Composite to record highs. The S&P 500 gained 0.7% to close at 3,025.86, while the Nasdaq Composite rose 1.1% to finish its trading day at 8,330.21. The Dow Jones Industrial Average also closed 51.47 points higher at 27,192.45. At the start of a new trading week, stocks in Asia mostly slipped amid low expectations for a major breakthrough in the upcoming US-China trade negotiations. Shares in mainland China were mixed on the day. The Shanghai Composite slipped 0.12% to 2,941.01, while the Shenzhen Component and Shenzhen Composite were marginally higher. Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index dropped 1.16% as tensions remained high in the city following another clash between protesters and the police over the weekend. In South Korea, the Kospi dropped 1.78% to finish its trading day at 2,029.48 as shares of chipmaker SK Hynix declined 3.51%. Meanwhile, European stocks closed higher on Monday afternoon ahead of the first in-person trade talks between the US and China since a truce was agreed in June. Also, markets reacted positively to a series of potential mergers and earnings. Telecoms and financial services stocks closed with 1.5% and 1.7% climbs, respectively. US buyout fund Blackstone Group is expected to announce the merger of its majority-owned financial data firm Refinitiv with the London Stock Exchange Group this week. The merger is expected to face a long antitrust review before it can be signed off. LSE Group stock climbed 15% on the news. There were also talks about the potential tie-up between food delivery companies Just Eat and Takeaway.com to form a £9 billion group which would outsize both Uber Eats and Deliveroo. In the US, stocks traded in a tight range on Monday and closed little changed ahead of the monetary policy decision from the Federal Reserve. The Dow Jones Industrial Average rose 28.90 points, about 0.1% to finish at 27,221.35. The S&P 500 fell 0.16% to 3,020.97. The tech-heavy Nasdaq Composite dropped 0.44% to close at 8,293.33 as Amazon fell 1.5%, Microsoft lost 0.2%, and Facebook shed 1.9%. As for currencies, JBP USD slumped to fresh 28-month lows on Monday and extended losses early on Tuesday to the levels just above 1.21 as fears mount about the economic damage for a no-deal Brexit after the government of Boris Johnson increased the rhetoric on Brexit, suggesting a quote-unquote no deal is increasingly likely. By the way, since Johnson became Prime Minister on July the 24th, sterling is the worst performing currency in the world. Against a basket of global currencies, the sterling index has lost over 2% already and may nurse further losses down the road. The dollar is trading in a mixed manner. Euro USD managed to turn positive on the day, but still remaining close to the 1.11 handle and got under pressure again early on Tuesday. In the short term, German CPI data could affect the pair, while the FOMC meeting remains in focus. In commodities, crude oil prices edged higher on Monday as the prospect of an expected interest rate cut by the US Federal Reserve overshadowed pessimism over US-China trade talks and worries about slower global economic growth. Yesterday, US President Donald Trump said a small Fed rate cut is not enough, which supported the market on expectations of stimulus measures in the US. Crude prices were also supported by supply risk as tensions remained high around the Strait of Hormuz, through which about a fifth of the world's oil passes. Later today, the API releases its weekly inventory report, which could give the additional lift to the futures if it points to another decline in the US crude oil stockpiles last week. That is all for today. Thank you for watching. Please click subscribe to always be in touch with the latest market news.